hello, welcome to my channel. I'm Anne and today I'm going to be finally bringing you my December wrap up. January has kind of gotten away from me a little bit and I've been really struggling to get everything done that I need to get done because I've got a bunch of assessments that are due on the 22nd. So I've just spent the last 2 hours or so, maybe 3 hours, doing a full assessment. So and now I'm just deciding I'm in a productive mood and I'm going to sit down and finally film this goddamn video because it's been a long time coming. But we have a lot of books to talk about, but first let's go through our statistics. To be honest, I don't really remember much about these books because December just kind of blurred together. And while I was making my statistics graphics, I was like, I don't even remember half of these books. Like, everything is just kind of blurred together. I was on an audiobook absolute binge, so I was just listening to audiobook after audiobook after audiobook. So I don't really remember much about a lot of these books, apart from the ones that are for specific vlogs. So I won't be talking too much about those. I want to try and make this as quick and snappy as possible because I don't want to be here all day filming. So, in the month of December, I read 22 books. 2 of those were physical, 5 ebooks, and 15 audiobooks. I don't know, I was in a weird mood in December. Genres read for December were 6 romance, 5 fantasy romance, 5 monster romance, 2 fantasy, 2 dark romance, 1 contemporary, and 1 horror. So a lot of romance in there with a little bit of a mix in between with some of them. In ranges 20 adult, 2 young adult, no middle grade. Ratings, we have 5 5 stars, 8 4 stars, 9 3 stars, 0 2 stars, and 0 1 stars. So you can see I've kind of had a bit of a mediocre reading month in December, so I think that's why a lot of these blended together. And I read a lot of like alien romance, like the Barbarian Alien series, so they kind of have all blended in together. Books acquired, 6 owned, 0 from the library, 1 ARC. It was more of a beta read than it was an ARC, but I didn't want to add another category onto this graphic. 6 from Kindle Unlimited, 4 from Audible, and 5 from Libby. So lots of different books and statistics on there, so let's just get straight into the books that I read. So the first book that I finished in the month of December was The Everking by L.J. Andrews. I read this as an ebook because I didn't own the physical, but I'm very happy that I finally own the physical. The beautiful Erin got this for me for my bookish advent calendar. But this is the first book in the Everseas series, and in this one we're following our main characters, Eric and Livia. So Eric is the king, the Ever King, and he is on a revenge mission to get revenge on the Earth Fae after they killed his father. He met Livia when he was a child, when he was a prisoner, and they have this sort of connection. And when Livia ends up breaking down the barrier that is stopping the Everseas crew from coming to the Earth, to Earth Fae, the Ever King realizes and comes and kidnaps her to get revenge. And I had the best time with this. This is part of my Brie vlog, which is coming soon. I finally finished all of the books in it, so it's going to be either not the next video but the one after that. So in the next week you will have the Brie vlog. So I'm going to leave all of my thoughts for the Ever King on for that vlog, but just so you know, I loved it and I am obsessed. The next one that I read was Rhapsodic by Laura Thalassa. This is about a young girl who ends up making a deal with the bargainer. Something happens when she is a little bit younger and she meets the bargainer, and he finally agrees to help her get rid of the scenario that she's in, and he helps her get into the school. And now we're following her 7 years later, and she has an arm full of beads that the bargainer hasn't gotten a favor back for. And one day he comes back and he decides, right, now's the time, I'm going to get my favors from you because you have an armful of beads. And we watch their romance and things blossom. There's a lot that goes on within the story. I have been wanting to read this book for so long, and I'm so glad that I read it. I'm so obsessed. Again, this is part of the Brie vlog, so there'll be more thoughts in that vlog that's coming soon. Then I read Cruel Winter with You by Ali Hazelwood. So this is part of the Christmas series that was on Kindle Unlimited. They're like 5 really short stories all themed around Christmas, but in this one it's a childhood best friends to best friends to lovers romance, and we're just watching them as they're older and coming to terms with their feelings and kind of realizing that they want to be together. I really love this one. Ali Hazelwood is definitely a favorite author of mine, so it was just a really easy 5-star for me for this one. The next one was my beta read, so it's Dreams of Deaths and Deities by Celia Rourke. This is a beta read, so it's very in the rough draft at the moment, but this is the sequel to Shades of Smoke and Shadows, and I loved it. It's a continuation from that series, so I don't want to talk too much about book 2, but I loved it. There was so much emotion, so much trauma, dealing with what happened at the end of book 1. There was a lot of shocks in here. I was very surprised with this one, and I think a lot of people will be when they get back into this story. The next one that I read was Graceling by Kirsten Cashore. In this one, we're following our main character, Katza. She has a grace that is for killing, and she decides that she doesn't want to do that anymore. So in this world you have a grace, so you are born with a specific power that you're good at. You're good at this one specific thing, and this main character Katza is good at killing, so she becomes like the king's assassin. So we're following her as she's realizing that she doesn't want to do this anymore, and she is going to try and stop killing under the king's influence. And yeah, she doesn't want to kill. Intrigue surrounding the kidnapping offers her a way out, and little does she realize when she takes it that something insidious and dark lurks in behind the mystery, something spreading from the shadowy figure of a one-eyed king. So I really enjoyed this one. I gave it a 4-star, and I listened to it on audio, and it was quite good. I can see why this is definitely a classic sort of YA story. I own the other 2 books on my shelves, so yeah, I don't think this is one that I'm going to be keeping. It's not a favorite series of mine, but it is something that I did enjoy and had a great time with as I was reading it. The next one is A Kingdom of Stars and Shadows by Holly Renee, and this is a fantasy romance. I gave it a 4-star. I found this to be very quick. I think this is Holly Renee's like debut fantasy romance, and you can kind of tell that it is, but in this one we're following our main character, and she is star blessed. So she has been promised to the future king, and she ends up going to the castle to meet with this future king and prepare to be married to him, and she comes across his brother, and it's sort of their forbidden romance. This again is in the Brie vlog, so I won't talk too much about it, but I had a fairly good time with it. Breaking Haley by L.A. Dice. This is another one that I listened to on audio, and this is for a Brie vlog, but in this one we're following our main character who has lost her memory. She got into a car accident and she doesn't remember what's happening, and we have our main guy who is worried that she's going to get her memory back, so he is sent to kill her, and he decides, and it's kind of like their romance, part of the Brie vlog, so check that one out. So the next one that we have is Merry Ever After by Tessa Bailey. I gave this 3 stars. Storyline I found was really cute. So in this one we're following a single mother who's working at a thrift store, and she really loves like doing clothes alterations, and a guy that comes in, he is like very big, so all the stuff that he is trying to find he can't fit into. So she decides one day, like, fine, I'm just going to make him a pair of pants that are perfect for him, and he becomes kind of like this obsessed with her, and we watch their sort of romance blossom. I found the storyline to be quite cute. I really liked it that it was like a single mom romance, and she was very focused on her child, but also wanted to have a bit of a romance. I found the smut to be not great. I found the dirty talk to be very cringeworthy, and I just didn't like certain things that were being said within the dialogue, so that was kind of turned me off, and it was a 3-star read for me. And then we have All by My Elf by Olivia Dade. This is another part of this Christmas series, I think, and this is about our main character who is selling like these something for Christmas, and she's working with a guy that she has a crush on, but she believes that her best friend is secretly dating the guy that she has a crush on, and she's kind of upset about that. But then they end up working together. They end up being together on their own, and it turns out that he's been obsessed with her this whole time, and we watched their romance. It was fine, it was cute, it was very quick. Then we have Merriment and Mayhem, which I actually really enjoyed. So in this one we're following our main character. I can't remember who this is by Alexandria Bellefleur, and this is about our main character who is going to her grandmother's house at Christmas time to try and pack up everything because her grandmother has passed away, and she is trying to pack up everything. But before she packs up everything, she decides that she's going to like make Christmas really big again in this house because that's what her grandmother was known for. And just everything that goes wrong could go wrong. She ends up like falling off the roof, she ends up almost burning the house down, and she keeps running into this fireman who ends up saving her from all these disasters. And we're just watching the romance, and I think it's really cute. I need to go, my storage is almost gone. And the next book that I read was Only Santa's in the Building, and this was by Alexis Daria. And in this one we are following our main character, who is a comic book designer, like a comic book artist, and she hasn't really decorated for Christmas, but every day she gets up and she finds these little handcrafted decorations on her door, and she becomes obsessed with them and really loves them, and it kind of brightens up her day. And she decides that she is going to try and find out who did this, while also having a crush on one of her neighbors in this apartment building. And she goes to a party and ends up in this romance with this guy, and it's quite fun and cute. These are very short. I don't really want to talk too much about them because it will ruin the whole story, but they are fun, they are cute, and they were perfect for that Christmas sort of time. The next one was Divine Rivals by Rebecca Ross. This is a very popular book where we're following our main character Iris, and she is in competition with Rowan, one of those, in competition with becoming a columnist, while also dealing with trying to find where her brother is, dealing with her mother's alcoholism, and trying to figure out what she wants to do with life. So she ends up starting to type these letters to her brother, and with this sort of weird and whimsical fantasy element, these letters get taken away and she believes they're going to her brother. But one day she gets a letter back telling her that it's not her brother, but they start having this romance like relationship with one another, and it's really cute, and I did enjoy it. It's part of the Brie vlog, so yeah. Then I read 1, 2, 3 of the Ice Planet Barbarian series. So I read Barbarian's Prize, Barbarian's Mate, and Barbarian's Touch. They're all 3 stars. Honestly, I don't really remember much about them. They've all kind of blurred together. I've read 2 more since then, so they're all kind of blurred together. But I am really enjoying this series. It's funny, it's smutty, it's just a quick and easy read that I've been really enjoying getting into. So that's the 3 of them reviewed, because I just can't talk about them anymore. Because I can't actually give you a synopsis for any of those books. Like, if you put a gun to my head, I wouldn't be able. The next book that I read was Can I Tell You Something by Holly June Smith, and this is another short sort of smutty novella that's set around Christmas. And a bunch of the girls in my book club, the Valaris Vixens, they recommended this. So this is about our main character, Hannah, who is about to spend her Christmas with the man of her dreams. So she has been single for a while, but she is very still within her sexual appetite and sexual fantasies. And she has found this creator who creates erotic voice notes sort of thing. And she's been having fun with those, having fun smutty times. And when she goes to spend time with her family, her brother turns up to surprise her with his best friend, and it turns out that his best friend is the guy who's creating these voice erotic stories. And he finds out that she is obsessed with him, and she's kind of been DMing him like with her feral thoughts, and he's like, I really like her, this is gonna happen. And we're just watching them trying to deal with being around each other, and it was just a fun time. And the smut, I have to say, it was top tier. It was a good time. I really enjoyed it. Then I read Priest by Sierra Simone, and I gave this 3 stars. So one of my friends, Bessie, she was screaming about this book. She loved it so much, and so I decided to pick it up and give it a try. So this is a taboo dark romance where we're following a girl who becomes kind of obsessed with a priest, and this priest who becomes obsessed with this girl who just moved to town, and he keeps trying to convince himself that he's just being a good priest. He's trying to ingratiate her into the community, but he's obsessed with her. It is all smut and no plot, honestly. And yeah, he's not a very good priest. That's all I have to say. He's not a very good priest. Like, immediately he just wants to have sex with her on the altar, and it's just all smut, no plot, which is fine, but I was kind of expecting a little bit more plot, and then the ending was just not it. Like, it made me angry. There was no communication. The way things happened was just not a fun time. But yeah, it is what it is. The next one is Muscles and Monsters by Ashley Bennett. This is a 4-star read for me. I had a really good time with this. So this is a werewolf / human romance. So in this one, we're following a main character who is a bakery owner, and she, one day when she is trying to carry a cake out to her car, she ends up dropping it, and this werewolf comes to help her clean up the cake, and they kind of have this really nice meet cute, and she decides that she's going to join the gym to get stronger so she doesn't end up dropping any cakes anymore. And we're just watching their romance, and I thought it was really good. She is very sassy, very feisty. She stands up for what she believes in, and she stands up for the people that she loves, which I had a good time. Like, she had no fear stepping up to some people, which I loved. Then we have Tentacles and Triathlons. So in this one, we're following our main character's brother from the first book, Muscles and Monsters, and he hates monsters because of something that happened to him as a child. So he's been really against this monster like the monsters coming to town and being like open, and he meets a kraken, and the kraken's really good at swimming, and he is trying to train for a triathlon, but he's failing with the swimming portion of the triathlon. So the kraken decides that he will help him train with the swimming, and it is a male romance, and it was so good. I really enjoyed it. I really liked the discussions in here. I really liked the banter and like the slow progression of the relationship, which I really liked. Then I read The Vermilion Cross by Haley Price. This is the second book in the Vermilion saga, and we're following on from what happened in the end of book 1. I did find that this was a little bit better than book 1. The writing is definitely more fluid and working really well. You can see how much the author has progressed with these stories, and I'm very excited to check out book 3. I know it isn't that happily ever after, but so I'm very intrigued to see where it goes. And yeah, it was a fun time. I had a good time. The next one that I read was It by Stephen King. This is a chunky boy. I'm so glad I finally finished this, but this is going to be part of my boyfriend picks my TBR vlog that will be upcoming after the Brie vlog. I gave this 3 stars, and I'll talk more about that one in another vlog coming soon. And then the last book that I read in the month of December was The Silvered Serpents by Roshani Chokshi. So this is book 2 in the Gilded Wolves series. So in this one, we're following Severin and his group of misfits who are trying to find something that they need to kind of reverse what happened in book 1. This is the sequel, so obviously I can't talk too much about this one, but I did enjoy it. There was so much pain and longing and trauma and we see how everyone has kind of separated from the ending of book one and how they are dealing with their own trauma and own grief and everything that's going on around them. I really, really enjoyed this. This is a 5-star read for me, and I'm very excited to continue with book 3 and see where this goes, because there's a lot that happens in here and I just had a really, really good time with it. So that was a quick and snappy December wrap up, because it is 2025. I don't want to spend any more time thinking about 2024 and the books that I read in 2024. So if you like this video, make sure to give it a like, comment down below what you read in the month of December, and maybe even your favorite book of 2024. I would love to know, and subscribe if you want to see more content from me. Bye.